Hi guys, I am Linda McGurk, also known as Rain or Shine Mama, and some of you might be familiar with my blog, rainorShineMama.com. I also recently wrote a book. There's no such thing as bad weather. It just came out earlier this month. And Susan from Mountain Mom and Tots invited me to share some of my top tips for getting kids connected with nature. And so I've just adapted 3 of my best tips from the book, and I just wanted to share them with you today. So just to give you a little bit of background, I am originally from Sweden, and Scandinavians are by birth just a very nature-loving people. We are immersed in nature from an early age, and it's something that we pass on to our children. So there's a tradition of what we call friluftsliv, or the open air life. And it's basically about, immersing yourself in nature just for the sake of, finding solace and peace and enjoyment in the outdoors in a non-competitive fashion. And we also have great access to natural areas. We have something called allemansrätten, or all men's right. That means we have access to private property. We can recreate on private property. So I will dive into my tips here without further ado. The first one is to start them early. It's never too soon to start raising an outdoor loving child, right? So in Scandinavia, a big thing is outdoor napping, and we're starting to see a little more about it here in the US now as well, in Canada. Basically from when a baby is about a week or 2 weeks old, we start taking them outside for walks and strollers with a flat bottom is important for little infants. And this is all year round, even in freezing temperatures and even in the rain and snow, but you just gotta keep the baby protected against the elements. We take babies for walks, and once we come back home, you don't want to wake the baby up, by taking it inside. So we basically, if you have a safe place to park the stroller, you do that outside and leave it with a baby monitor. Or if it's warm enough, you can crack a window and just kind of keep tabs on the baby periodically. And this is really common in Scandinavia, and it's popular because babies have been found to take deeper and longer naps outside. They really dig it. So it's also good for from a germ management perspective. If you have a bigger group of children, it's better for them to get outside, because then they're not on top of each other and constantly passing germs back and forth to each other. So the fresh air is good for that reason as well. And of course, just imagine just the soothing sounds of nature and falling asleep, and listening to the birds tweeting or the leaves rustling in the wind. What could be more soothing than that? And the fact is that a lot of babies, they get so used to their naps and their strollers that they just don't want it any other way once they get used to it. So, of course, and there's nothing stopping you from also taking little infants out in a carrier. It's just a little harder if they go to sleep to make that transition once you get home. In the stroller, they're already sort of lying down, so they can stay asleep for hours that way. So that was my first tip. My second tip is to relax about the germs. we are way too clean in today's society, and this sanitary environment has not been very good for as far as allergies and asthma is concerned. Obviously, you know, there's been tremendous good come out of you know, our clean drinking water and just basic hygiene practices. You know, it helps reduce infection, among other things. But when we make our environment too clean, then our immune system, it kind of starts slacking off because it's got nothing to do. So it starts reacting against things that aren't really bad for us. It could be different foods or just other allergens like dandruff, or, you know, dogs or cats, whatever. So by letting your kids just really get outside and get dirty, you can stimulate their immune system. Most of the microbes in the soil are totally harmless. So it helps to know that it's okay for them to get dirty, and even if they get some in their mouths, it's okay. Even little babies are okay to crawl around on the ground and let them go barefoot. It's okay. So that was my second tip. My third tip is to always keep a positive attitude about going outside regardless of the weather. So when I was a kid, we were always told, you know, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. And this was, you know, we heard this not just from parents and grandparents, but also from preschool teachers and all the adults in our lives. And basically, I mean, I think it served us well. It made us resilient to the weather. When you grow up in Scandinavia, you don't get too spoiled with nice and sunny 70-degree weather. The winters are dark. It rains a lot of the time. It gets cold. But we wouldn't trade our outdoor time for anything in the world. And I know actually, because I've talked to many of my friends about this as well, that part of it is just that we were drilled with this motto or mantra from such an early age that it's just part of our fabric. It's become part of who we are, part of what we do. We just go outside like every day, regardless of the weather. And with that, of course, comes, you know, the necessity to dress for the weather. And that's something that I write a lot about on my blog. You know, layering, of course, really helps keep kids warm and dry outside. Good gear is key. So, you know, it also, like, reframing the way you talk about the weather is really important as well. I think a lot of times us adults tend to get down a little bit on the weather. We get negative. You know, we see that it's raining outside, or maybe it's cold and we don't really feel like it. And those feelings can we can easily transmit those to the kids. So I always try to keep a positive attitude about the weather. Even if I don't feel like going outside because it's raining, I try to say to the kids, you know, oh, you know, instead of saying, oh, shoot, it's raining, let's stay inside, we'll just think about it as, oh, well, it's raining, let's see if there are any fun puddles to jump in, or let's see if the earthworms have, you know, crept out of their little holes because it's wet out. And then we'll go outside and explore for a while. We don't always stay out for hours. You don't have to, but it is important, I think, to create that rhythm, the daily rhythm of getting outside. It's important to have that. I think it really stays with kids as they get older. So, yeah, so those are 3 of my top tips. Start them young, and by all means, try outdoor napping. If it works for you, that's great. Lots of benefits to be had there. and let them get dirty. It's my second tip. It is really good for us to get some microbes and give our immune systems a little workout. And my third tip, let's go outside regardless of the weather. Make it a daily, your part of your daily rhythm. And remember, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. You can reach me at rainorShineMama.com. I'm on all the social media channels, so please feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. You can buy my book on Amazon or in major bookstores in the US and Canada. And thanks again, Susan, for having me on, and I will see you up there. Bye.